Chapter 5. Jessica stared blankly at him, then asked, "Do you think it will be that bad?" Jimmy had just finished explaining everything he had learned in the last several hours. He guessed that she wouldn't handle the news well, so he tried to be as delicate as possible, leaving out any information that might push her over the edge. "I don't know. I'm still trying to connect the dots, but I'd say that something is going on. And what's happening out there could be really bad. I've heard the same story from 3 different people. You and your conspiracy theories. I thought you stopped paying attention to all of that. You told me it made your anxiety shoot through the roof. You know I can't handle you when you're like that." "I did. I have, until today. Sweetheart, you know that I've been going to church with the older kids the last few months. I think it's time that you start coming with me. This entire family needs to get right with God, and I fear that there's no time to wait," Jimmy said, his voice steady and sincere. "I've already told you, I will never go to a church again. You know how my father was with all of that stuff," she snapped. "I know. I didn't grow up going to church like you did, but God has to be telling us something, and we need to listen." "No thanks. I'll leave God to you. But honey, just listen to what—" "That is enough, James. Let it go." She shot him an unholy glance, and Jimmy understood that he had reached his limits. "Jessica, things are escalating quickly, and it doesn't sound like they are going to be able to control it." "So what? We have to live through another pandemic?" she questioned. "You get to work from home again, and I get a break from the kids when you're home. We don't go many places anyway, so we will survive. It will be kind of nice again," Jessica said, smiling. "I don't think this is like COVID, though. 99% of people live through that, at least. From what I'm hearing, this is a mutation. Maybe only 75% or even 50% of people live through it this time. I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a bad feeling about this. We both lost loved ones last time. Your dad, my aunt. I don't think we want to go through that again. Hopefully we won't have to." The night went on without a hitch, or at least outwardly. After dinner, Jimmy wrestled with Logan on the floor. His daughters laughed and tried to get in on the action. He tossed Macy in the air and played with baby Ethan. But there was a creeping tension in his chest. Outside, the wind rattled the eaves, and the winter storm was brewing. After putting the kids to bed, Jess announced that she was exhausted and heading to bed. Jimmy used this opportunity to scour the internet. His searches brought him no new news. He decided instead to stash his newly acquired supplies in the barn. He grabbed his sock cap and worn-out winter coat and headed out to unload the Suburban with Charlie following closely behind. Most of the supplies would be safe out there if they were packed into totes, but he brought the canned goods into the house, already frozen from the cold. He stashed them in the back of a closet, trying to keep his secret safe. Afterward, Jimmy went back outside and gathered some split chunks of wood, a few pieces of fat wood from his fire-starting stash in the garage, and a few twigs and small branches. He walked down to the family fire pit and lit a fire. Nothing clears the mind like a cold night and a hot fire, he thought to himself. He sat on a cut log that they used for a seat as the fire started to blaze. He contemplated what had happened a few years back during the last pandemic, as well as the stresses it would create with another one. After an hour, Jimmy whistled for Charlie, and the Dalmatian came trotting along as they reached the front door. "Let's go to bed," he said to the dog. After walking upstairs, Jimmy left the bedroom door slightly ajar and laid his head on the pillow, his dreams unsteady and his night unrestful. The next morning, after fielding a somewhat angry call from Pete about how important it was to be in the office, Jimmy sat down at his desk, intending to work. Instead, his mind wandered often, consumed with what-if scenarios and social media posts. "Is everything all right with you?" Jessica asked, peeking her head into the home office that they had converted from a spare bedroom with a look of concern. "Yeah, why? Everything is great," Jimmy said, coming out of a fog. "You seem distracted." Every time I've seen you, you've been staring at the wall or looking at your phone. That's not like you. You never get distracted while you're working. Have I? I've gotten some work done today. Maybe it's just the Friday blues or something. Okay, well, lunch will be ready soon. Sounds good, thanks. He and his family had a typical Friday evening, watching a movie as the snow continued outside. Saturday came around, and as usual, the family ran a few errands in town. While in the grocery store, Jimmy began adding unconventional things to the cart, like a case of water, more cans of food, another few 5-pound bags of rice, and a bag of dried beans. Jimmy, what are you doing? Huh? What? Jimmy asked, dumbfounded. You hardly ever eat rice, or beans, and you're convinced they're trying to kill you with those plastic bottles. I've never said that. Is everything all right, Jimmy? Why are you adding this stuff? You know we're on a budget. It will be fine. Let's just get what we need and get some lunch at that one place on the way out of town. El Largo Camino, I think it's called. A group of us went there for lunch a couple of weeks back, and their steak fajita tacos are to die for. Jimmy was keenly aware of his surroundings as they drove around. He was on the lookout for any unusual tension, but people acted normal, and he noticed nothing out of place. Once they got back home, Jimmy checked his phone again. Nothing new. I overreacted again. I always fall for this. I always find a way to work myself up for nothing. The next morning, Jimmy gathered up Chloe and Logan, put on his Sunday best, and headed to church. On the way into town, he noted the usual traffic that he had become accustomed to. Everyone was seeming to go about their business as usual. After hearing the message, Jimmy gathered his children and made his way to the exit. He was stopped by an older gentleman who Jimmy had spoken to a few times previously. With the perfect comb-over and blue plaid button-up shirt covering his enormous belly, his faded brown loafers dragged across the tile floor as he made his way towards him. Hey, Jimmy, did you enjoy the message today? I thought it was great, Lonnie. Yes, it was. Pastor Tom has been delivering some really powerful sermons these past few months. He has a way with words that just sticks with you. Yes, sir, he does. Remind me again, Jimmy, where are you from originally? Lonnie asked, hiking up his pants in an exaggerated way. I'm from a couple of hours north of here, but my wife is from the next town over, Jimmy explained uncomfortably as he shoved his hands in his pockets and tried his best to maintain eye contact. That's right. Say, have you been hearing anything unusual from back home lately? Not really. I don't keep in touch with my family much. Ah, that's too bad. Well, I came to this area for college and never left, but I'm originally from Illinois. Oh yeah? Which part? Right across the river from St. Louis. And you decided to come here? My family never saw life away from the river as an option. But I wanted to get away. Not far away, but far enough. I can understand that. Yeah. Well, I was talking to my sister yesterday afternoon. She said my nephew Matthew mentioned something odd. He's been seeing a lot of patients coming into the ER. Sounds like your nephew is doing well for himself, living the dream. Not exactly. He's a nurse's assistant, not a doctor. He's the one that takes your blood or something. He's a phlebotomist, then? Jimmy asked, emphasizing the PH with a snarky grin. No, I don't think so. I think she said that it started with a P, not an F. Anyhow, he does work in a hospital. He's been picking up extra shifts, and apparently they're slammed with some kind of fever. They don't know what's causing it and even have to turn people away. It sounds pretty serious. Wow, that does sound rough. I hope everyone's doing fine, he said, again emphasizing the F sound as he wondered if humanity had really fallen this far. Let's hope so. I was just wondering if you had heard anything like that from back home. Nope. Sorry. That sounds scary, though. Lonnie sighed. Well, I better hit the road. We're meeting Daryl and Marlene for pizza after church. Want to bring your kids and join us? I'd love to, Lonnie, but I can't this week. Jessica has lunch waiting for us, so I should get home. When are you going to bring her with you? This is all still new to me, but I'm working on her. We'd all love to meet her. I know, and you will. I just need a little time to convince her. She was burned out with church from when she was younger and doesn't have the desire to ever return. Well, I will pray for her and for you. Have a great day, Jimmy. God bless you and your family. As he headed toward the exit, something about what Lonnie said didn't sit right with him. Hospitals turning people away, fever spreading without explanation, phlebotomists starting with an F. He felt the urge to check the news again, just to be sure. Getting into the Suburban, Jimmy cranked the engine. As he put the SUV in reverse, the song on the radio finished and the normal Sunday morning host was quickly replaced by a newsman's voice.
We interrupt our regular programming for urgent breaking news out of Washington, D.C. President Owens is scheduled to address the nation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. While the full details of the speech are not yet known, we urge listeners to remain tuned in. Following the president's speech, we will provide live analysis and updates on this developing story. Keep it tuned to this station for all of the latest developments.
He couldn't shake the chill creeping up his spine. The back of his neck prickled and he hurried home. For the first time in years, Jimmy turned on the TV to cable news. The screens were alive with nonstop coverage, speculation spinning in every direction, from a possible conflict with Russia to whispers of a new pandemic to rumors of a sudden resignation. Come on, everybody. The Hoosiers play in 45 minutes and we have to eat and get cleaned up before the game. Who are they playing again? Jessica hollered. They're at Illinois. The weight of his own words hit him the moment they slipped out. He choked down Jessica's beloved beef stew, a meal he hated, then dropped onto the couch with Charlie beside him. He tuned into the basketball game a few minutes before tip-off, looking for a different kind of anxiety to consume him.
School officials from both universities have confirmed that the game has been postponed due to new developments. With assistance from local health officials, along with the CDC, this difficult decision was made. A new date will be announced in the coming days. We will send it back to the studio after this message from our sponsors.
Are you serious? Jimmy exclaimed. What's going on? Why would they postpone the game? Something serious must be happening. What do you think it is, Jimmy? I don't know, he lied as he fought the disappointment of the cancellation with the realization that the real world was spinning completely out of control.